All right. You guys see my report?
Yes.
One thing I did to my template recently, I don't know, I'm using the feature on my finished report where I have both the chapter, so like exterior, and the section, so like siding and trim would be the section just to get the vocabulary down. And I have them both showing in the summary, which is really nice because my summary gets auto generated and it can say like exterior doors. So I like that. But I recently did all caps on my chapter titles, and I do like it. It kind of helps. I think it makes it a little clearer on the finished report. So if you remind me, I can show you a sample of that. So this is a job that I finished. So I was done with it. I copied it and I deleted a few pictures and stuff out of things so that I could kind of show you this. So one of the buttons I wanted to show you, see how there's those buttons at the top? There's a little house and a notepad and then three lines and an exclamation point. So those are actually pretty, that's part of what I wanted to show you. So if you hit the three lines, I'll do that again. It's the three lines. So it's kind of that middle icon all the way at the top. It actually shows you every single comment that you've made in a report all in one place. So what's kind of cool about that is it's actually a really fast way to start putting pictures to things. So if you wanted to not even bother putting pictures to stuff, like here's a siding to soil contact. So I could open it, then I can go to my photo gallery. So to get to the photo gallery in mobile, that's the one that's just to the right of the camera icon with the little mountains and a box. So I click on that, and then there's the picture that I want, and now it's attached to that comment. So then when I hit the arrow at the upper left, I would go back into that same panel. So like I know I have some deck pictures, so I could click on the deck comment. I could click on my gallery, and now I could go through and look for any other deck pictures. This is an especially good workflow where uh, sometimes you keep running into stuff like you inspect the deck from the ground outside, but then maybe you have to get on the deck later, and so then you can use this technique to kind of get back into that little photo bucket. So now I just added like four more pictures to this deck comment. So now I'll hit the back arrow and let's see, I think I've got a roof comment here. Here's some roof repairs. And so then now I'm in the comment, I click on the gallery and I could see if I have, looks like I didn't have any more. Oh, there they are. I just, it's probably still syncing because I deleted these. But anyway, these would be my roof pictures. You could highlight them and then click done, and now I just added more roof pictures in there. Does that make sense, everybody? You guys see that workflow that I'm talking about? I mean, if you're brand new to Scribeware, oh, there's a bunch of people I got to let in. This is kind of a more advanced part of the workflow, but it's actually a very fast way to kind of tune up
Yeah.
your report when you're done. Is just coming up to that little top
Right.
icon again and hit that little middle button,
Okay.
and that gets you the view. Let's see, someone's talking. I gotta. Damn. Anybody have
There
any
you go.
questions on that, or does that all make sense?
I got one quick question. Does that work coming from your photo gallery on your phone too? Same
Well,
way.
so yeah, thank you for asking that. Let me show you that. So now let me go to the phone gallery. So now we could be anywhere on the mobile app, right? I could be in exterior doors, doesn't really matter. I could click on the gallery, and now let's say I wanted to do this. So here's another deck picture, right? So I'm gonna click on the deck picture, and one of my see the blue button at the bottom that says add to observation? You guys all see that? So
Yep.
that brings me to that list. So now I'm back to that list and I could click on the deck comment and I could add that one media. So it's really pretty cool. You can work in both directions. You could just open up your gallery and you can go find, select a bunch of pictures. Like here is three pictures that for paint. So I highlighted them. I can hit add to observation. I have 103 comments in here, but I could sorry, I have so many. You guys can't see it, but I have all these damn things in my way on the mobile app. It's because of Zoom. So if I can do put up here paint, And there it is, paint stain and paint job needed. So I can choose that comment. And now I'm going to apply 4 pictures there. So that's a workflow where you're working. It looks like I selected the one I didn't want. So we could go ahead and delete that. Sorry,
Show us
guys.
that again, Dylan, please.
You want to see it again?
Please.
Yeah, I don't get it, Dylan.
All right, I'll show you again. I might have to like delete some pictures because I'm running out of samples here. Let me we're here. I'll go into my desktop real quick and delete some things.
Hey Dylan, simple question for you while you're doing that.
Yeah,
Anything that you've given a description, you put a caption on a picture and it's in the gallery, that caption will come into any of your comments. However, if you did comments or captions to a picture in a comment and then erase that,
you
that
lose
caption
you
doesn't
lose.
stay with it, correct?
Yeah, that's on our list of things. Steve gives me some pushback on that. I think it's one of those ones that's surprisingly complicated. Um,
But coming out of the gallery is if you're doing a walk around to take those photographs and you caption those in the gallery, it will bring the caption with it when you're moving it back over to the comments.
That's correct. So if you're captioning pictures, it's actually really great to caption them in the gallery. And then it kind of permanently saves those captions with the pictures. Where if you caption in the comment currently, if you kind of delete the pictures, you won't lose the pictures, but the comments would be deleted because they're sort of part of that comment. So it's actually something that we would like to make it so that if you caption them in the comment and then remove the picture from the comment, the captions, at least ideally to me, you'd have the option to keep them. Don't you think, Mike?
I would agree with that because I put them into the wrong comment, top to bottom, and all of a sudden I've lost the caption.
Yeah, if you resequence them in a comment, you won't lose them. But if you take them, if you caption them inside of a comment, and then so we could do that here. I could go ahead and I'll just
I just wanted that clarity for others that may not be familiar with that.
Yeah, it's funny. I've got so many weird things up on you guys can't see it, but I have all this like extra things up because I'm zooming. I literally have like 3 things on my freaking phone and I can't even get my keyboard up. 4 things, no. Anyway, that would be how you'd caption it. But let me go ahead and show you guys this workflow again. So there's 2 ways to go. And so if you have comments and you want to get pictures with it, there's kind of 2 ways to do it. If you click on the library tab at the top, you'll see these little 5 icons at the top. And the one that I thought was particularly cool was this one in the middle. And that gets you every single comment that you have made in the report. God, I can't get my keyboard up now. I just have too many things up. Sorry, guys. I wonder if I get out of this. It's so hard to share mobile on a Zoom. Let me try one more time. I'm going to try relogging in to Zoom. Let's see if this is any better. Now you guys can see see all this other crap that I have up. Before I was just sharing the app, so that was better. Now I have all these other things up that I don't really even know what they are. They're from my phone or something. Those 2 little bars on the right. So what I was showing, if I click the hamburger menu at the upper left, you get these 5 things, and you click on the middle one, and this would be all of the comments that you've used in the report. So like this, I've got 104 different observations here. So I could click on deck, and then I could click on the gallery just to the right of the camera icon. And here's my whole gallery of pictures. So like, here's a bunch of extra deck pictures that I might want in there. So I can highlight those, and now I can hit done. and it moved those 4 pictures in there. And this is a particularly valuable workflow. To me, decks are a good example of sometimes you can't get on the deck, right? Because there's not stairs to it. And so you might have 5 or 6 pictures from below the deck. And then when you get on the deck, you take a bunch more pictures like way later in your workflow. And that's a really fast way to get those pictures into that comment that you already chose. Does that make sense? I get some amens and hallelujahs. You guys with me?
Amen.
Nice.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, amen.
Cool.
Donnie would say, ho, ho, ho.
And if you're new to Scribeware, like one of the things of why like Mike Patton brought up photo captions is, let me just show you how this works with this comment. This is what I call a parent comment. So to me, these decks, this house had like 3 decks. They were all in like typical 1976 house, right? You've got 3 decks and they're like of every different age, they're like totally patched and pieced together. And so I have a workflow where I just go around and take pictures and use voice to text to caption the pictures. And then when I'm ready, I put my cursor right here. So this comment basically says, hey, repairs are needed to the decks. You need a plan. Options include a full rebuilding or fix them as needed. Examples of specific observations noted during the inspection include. So I can put my cursor there, and then I can hit, if I can get to it with all this weird stuff that's going on. Yeah, I can't get my keyboard up.
Just hit that.
Yeah, well, anyway, I would be able to hit the little button. This whole zooming thing is really challenging me on the mobile app today. Let me see if I can get my keyboard up in a normal way. Yeah, my keyboard just won't come up on my phone while I'm zooming. It's the keyboard that would have the little button to do it. Sorry, guys. There's really, it's so hard to be able to zoom and show this stuff. And something's different today. Anybody know what the hell these things are? How I could get rid of them? Tim Trickle. I feel like they have something to do with what's happening, but. Yeah, so and then the other workflow is you can go from the gallery and here's some more deck pictures, so I could highlight those and then I can add them to the observation. There's my deck observation and I put them in. So it kind of works in 2 directions. And I'll jump onto desktop and show you guys that whole photo captions to bullets thing. We'll jump onto that same comment here. So if you are newer to Scribeware, what I was talking about is this workflow where you just take pictures and caption them. And we try to design the mobile app so that you can take pictures and caption them really quickly. And I use voice to text, and I could go over some tips on that. But here you can see I've got a bunch of pre-captioned pictures here. No positive connections, large openings in the guardrail. In Scribeware, we support a completely separate photo captions library. So it's actually kind of a neat way to caption things where you can use keyword search. So like I'm trying to think of a picture where it would apply. I've already kind of got most of these captioned, but let's see, there was a ledger board. Here's a ledger board picture. So here's a picture of a ledger. They just put the hangers right onto the siding. So if I start typing the word ledger, I actually have all these pre-made comments that I could use here. So most of them are probably about bolting the ledger. I've got all kinds of different stuff here. Hangers nailed directly to siding, no ledger. So I already have the comment, and then we could go ahead and add. And you could do all of this on mobile. I wish I could show you a little bit better, but there would be like an example of annotating that picture. So the photo captions to bullet thing is you put your cursor there and hit the button with the 3 lines. Everybody see that one? And you hit that and it makes a bulleted list of all of your photo captions. So the idea that is really fast for report writing is you write parent comments that are vague, that are like, hey, somebody needs to rebuild this deck. You have electrical repairs that are needed. You have roof repairs. And so to me, those are parent comments. and then I fill them out with all the granular specific things and I just had to speak those in. And once you get good at voice to text, you'd be amazed. These work fairly well. And if you don't like voice to text, you could also use those pre-made captions like I showed you, and you use a keyword search to retrieve those things. So both of those techniques work, but I call this the art of being simultaneously vague and specific. You have a vague comment that's like, you need someone to further evaluate the electrical system, and then you add all the specifics. Yeah, Mike Patton.
One other comment to that is your examples may not be all inclusive
Huh? Yeah.
because
And
so many people try to make that your list when you're leaving it open-ended intentionally.
thank you, Mike. That's exactly why I say examples of specific things. I'm trying to be really careful to word this that like, hey, here's 10 reasons why you need somebody to look at these decks, and
In our area, though, that's only 10 they're going to have them look at.
yeah, well, it's important. It's funny. I actually have a really good roofing company where I live, and the owner of the company is like, fix anything Dylan says to fix. And I'm like, no, you're supposed to look at everything, like not just what I say. There's probably other stuff, so that's kind of yeah, Jeff's laughing, right? You get into this like trap a little bit. So I try to word it of like, hey, this needs to be further evaluated here. Here are some of the things that I found. I'll show you in my electrical, I have a comment. So now I'm in my electrical distribution, and I have see how it says one electric comment. So if you're new to Scribeware, all these check boxes are kind of cool. So everything I've highlighted here, actually all the way from here up in my template, are what I call inspector only notes. So I call this the mullet feature. It's all business in the front and party in the back. So anybody get that joke?
Yeah.
A lot of people are muted, but all right, Alex gave me a thumbs up. Yeah, so the business in the front and party in the back. So this actually came to me from, when I started, when Mike Patton started, like there weren't even freaking digital cameras, and the only way to write a report was a checkbox report. And so and it was
Mike Patton started on a stone tablet. I'm just saying.
That's
I
why
think Jamie was there before I was.
I love
Hey,
it.
Dylan, I got a question.
Yeah.
Hey, on those bullet statements
Yep.
on the mobile, I've tried this before. Then when I got to my laptop, I realized it didn't quite work how I thought it could potentially work. When you're out in the field and after you do a speak to text, it'd be great if we could hit that bullet thing and add that one to the paragraph. And then when
Yeah.
you come across another picture
So
and you do another voice text, and if you hit that bullet statement again,
Yep.
instead of duplicating everything, maybe it'll just add that new one.
Yeah, what I would recommend there, let me finish showing some stuff, and then I'll get back to
Okay.
that because you're spot on. But I think there's a workflow that will make it you happy with it. But in any event, so everything I've highlighted here is an inspector note, and I don't want checkboxes in my report. So I built it so these checkboxes stay hidden, but I can click on things and get all these comments at the click of. So I have the speed of a checkbox report with the quality of a narrative report. So that was kind of the idea behind a lot of these checkboxes. So these are called inspector only notes, and I love them. And once you build your template with these and you get your kind of greatest hits in each section on mobile, it's insanely fast. I mean, you're just going click, 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 and everything's showing up. So the mullet feature is my name for it. So this is my wiring comment. If one thing I can do here, Edward, is flag it, and that's going to go ahead and add one item to be reviewed here. So when I start a new template, I have like 200 items, but if I flag it and I hit update library, it'll actually remember it flagged. So now it should come in pre-flagged. And so what I like to do is get kind of 50 to 90% of the report done on site, and then I'm back in the office and I'll add my infrared pictures and kind of clean it up. And these, you can go through and tab through the whole report and it'll find your flagged items. And so, Edward, I wait, even though I can hit that button on mobile, I just wait till I'm done, because Edward's point is, if you go ahead, let's go ahead and make a little bulleted list. I'm in my electrical comment, and these are deck pictures, but we could put those in and we'll hit that and make a button. If I bring in another picture that's captioned, we could go ahead and caption this one. And now I've got another caption picture. If I come up here and hit that button again, it makes a whole new list, which you can go up and delete those, and then you'd be right back in action. But I find it easiest and sort of clearest to just dump all my pictures in there and then hit that button when I know I'm done. And so having my parent comments pre-flagged is kind of helpful. Does that make sense,
Yeah, it's
everybody?
just sometimes I thought I would be done in that one sec in that area. And
Mm-hmm.
sure enough, I get to another part of the house and oh, there's another one. And then, I've got to add that to it. So I was looking at as far as, doing less at the house and the office, that way trying to get more done on site. Because when I get back to the office, I find myself going through section to section to section, looking at the pictures, making sure they're right in the right direction. And all my speak to text is spoken the way I hoped it had come out
Yep.
after I review it. And then I go in there and do a bullet statement. But occasionally, when I think I'm done and I hit that on site, and then when I find some more, then I got to go back and just like what you did, delete a few lines and re-hit that button so it gets all of them back up in place. But if I could limit what I do at the house, it'd be great, especially when you have like 2, 3 inspections you've done that day, and then you're going home and you're working on these things for several hours.
Yep. Can you see my screen on mobile? It's not sharing. I'm
No,
really riding the struggle bus today on mobile Zoom share. Weird. Yeah, Zoom is just never that friendly with all right. I'm gonna not even
Hey Dylan, if I may, I'll kind of comment on Edward what he's saying.
Mhm.
Edward, the way I do it, I use the flags on the mobile app too. And at the end, like a lot of times I'll say what the flag is, I'll say captions to bullets. Then it allows me to go back through at the end and look at those items I need to review. And I can go in under, doors that have multiple issues with doors or electrical. And then I just hit my captions to bullets on each one of those, uncheck the flag, and I'm done. So you can still
That's
finish all that
exactly what
on
I wanted
site.
to show you is like if you
Yeah,
use you because you have the flags all visible on the mobile, so then you can do it on desktop or you can do it on mobile, doesn't matter. But if you just wait till the end and review your flags, you can just hit that button once and be done with it, right, Jason? Isn't that what you're saying?
absolutely.
Yep.
I'd love,
yeah,
Absolutely.
I'd
yeah,
love
that
for all my
flag thing,
captions
that's
to
what
be.
I use for my reinspects because it makes it, a whole lot easier to do your reinspect by just putting those flagged items in there and you only look at that. But I've got to go through the report from front to back anyway because I so I don't know why, but sometimes my pictures when I go horizontal, when in the report that horizontal went vertical, so everything's sideways, it's like sporadic. It only does it every now and then. So I've got to comb through the whole thing
Are you on a
before I finish it
Droid?
out.
Are you
You
on
what?
Droid?
No, iPhone.
And so what you have pictures that don't come in vertically?
Well, I've got some pictures that's supposed to be horizontal
Hmm.
and it's random.
Hmm.
And it'll go vertical and then you're looking at it sideways. So you got to go into crop, rotate, and then go back to annotate. And then that way I could, circle or put an arrow on or whatever and then save that way.
So
I've
if you
got guys that
can,
have the same
you can
problem.
use the submit feedback if you hit that. I actually
I
never
have,
hit that on Android. And one of the things that helps me is I like the 4:3 picture mode. And that way all my pictures are square. One of the things that really helps is if you print the report, if you have rectangular pictures, it can add literally like 5 or 10 pages to a printed length of a report. So to me, the square pictures are nice. If you that's and it helps everything kind of lay out really well in the report. And then I don't know, I never have, I mean, every once in a while, like on a data plate or something, I might have to switch things, but I can rotate my phone taking pictures in the 4:3 mode, and it's usually right with me the whole time.
where do I find this 4:3 mode?
If you click to take a picture, it's you've got a whole bunch of different exposures at the top. So one is auto, one is 3:4, one is 1:1, and then the next one is 4:3. But see if that helps. That's what I use, and I spend almost no time fiddling with pictures. I mean, every once in a while I do have to, twist a data plate around or something, but
So
it's pretty rare for me.
so it's not in settings.
No, just go ahead, like click the camera like you're going to take a picture, and then it's one of the choices at the top. I'm going to try to get my damn phone in again. I restarted my phone to see if I could
But to
get some.
Edward's question there, it's in the settings that you want to set it for portrait or horizontal at all times. Am I correct on that, Dylan?
Uh, well, I think if I don't know, I all I know is I use the 4:3 mode, and guys, these damn things on the side again. I have
four
the
three is
in 4:3. I just never really need to like change anything. I'm trying to share my screen here.
Edward, this is Sang. I do the same thing. I only use the square photos in all my reports. So if you go to iPhone settings or iPhone camera settings, whatever the format that you try to set, and then that's what's showing on your Scriber app. My photo is set to one all the time, just because I don't want to see the different, like the
Oh,
layout of photos
that's
on.
interesting, Sang. So you like the one-to-one. Can you see this where I have this, guys? I mean, this is where I think the default is auto, and then you
Oh,
end up,
okay.
and auto still rotates fine for me. But then I like the 4:3, and it just gives me a square picture. And every once in a while, another thing I wanted to tell you guys is when you're taking the cover picture, I really like using the 0.6, so the wide angle. And the software kind of automatically slightly blows up a picture that you might use for a cover photo. So I've noticed that if I stand back and take what looks to me like kind of a small cover photo, it actually ends up looking pretty great in the finished report. So I use the 0.6 mode, and I'll kind of stand back, and that seems to give me a really nice cover shot. So it's actually a video I've been wanting to make. So, but those are the modes right up at the top here.
Okay. Yeah, I just changed mine to that 4:6 and give that a try, because when I have to sit there and crop it, rotate it, it takes about 30, 45 seconds or so in order for the computer to process it, even though I had taken the resolution down quite a bit, and it still takes some time. Now
Well,
on the phone, it works
see
just
if this
fine.
helps, because I almost never need to mess with cropping or like rotating pictures. And it's not never, but it's pretty, it might be some jobs I don't do it at all. And then some jobs I might have a couple shots that I need to rotate. So see if that helps.
What are you using for the cover?
So for the cover, I take a picture in 0.6. So you see there's 0.6, 1, and 2 at the bottom of my screen. Everybody see that?
Yeah, I don't
And then
see it on mine though.
Well, it's
I see,
possible.
I
One
see
of
a
the
point.
nightmares of mobile for us is, there's like literally hundreds of different like cameras and devices and
Hmm.
stuff.
I
So
see a 0.5 and a 1x and a
yeah,
2.
so it's probably the 0.5 is probably what is on your camera.
Okay.
I think Tim's on here. He might know a bit more how this works, but we have to try to integrate with like whatever cameras and with whatever device you're using, and so everyone's will be a little bit different. But the whole
Yeah, Dylan, the camera has to have a lens that's a wide lens. That's that 0.5.
Yep,
That's iPhone. Zero point 0.6 is Samsung. But
cool,
if you don't
awesome.
have that wide angle lens, you won't have the 0.6.
Awesome. Thanks, man. That was
Yep.
kind of my guess. Like I think the reason I have three buttons is my phone has three different cameras built in it, right? And so um but they're actually pretty trick. I mean, when I'm in the crawl space, I can often just click on the two when I need to zoom in. It's sometimes it's hard in a crawl space with your phone when you're like lying upside down and there's cobwebs in your face and all that stuff, and you're trying to like zoom in on stuff. So it's kind of nice just having these three. I just toggle between the three cameras basically. But I can rotate and stuff, and I very rarely need to do that. So see if that helps, Edward, and if not,
Well,
let
thing
us
is,
know.
when I'm with a mobile device, when I rotate the camera, everything looks fine. Looks great. Everything's rotated. I take the picture, but when I get to the office and I pull it up on the laptop, some of the pictures I took horizontal are horizontal, but some are horizontal, but the whole picture is sideways because it went vertical on me for whatever reason. And those are the ones that I have to rotate back.
I understand what you're saying. You've said it multiple times, but
Yeah.
I think
But
I
I
gave you a
am going to try
solution.
this 4.6, this 4.6 that you showed me. I am
Yep.
going to try that and see how that works.
Yeah, see if that helps.
Because I think
Edward, we
that's
like
going to help a lot.
saying we do the, like saying said, we do the 1-1 for all of my team, and it keeps everything as a square, and we never have any rotation issues.
Nice. Yeah, so try that 1-1 as well then, and see if you know.
Right.
Again, it can be different between these devices, which is super complicated. But see if that helps, because I'm glad to hear that, Jim. I mean, I really like never spend
Yeah, I
time
didn't
on
know
that.
where I could change that, and I'm glad y'all showed me that.
Cool. Hey, so this is what I also wanted to show you is you see the exclamation point. That's the other thing that's on the top of the screen here. And if I hit that, it brings me the items that need attention. So in this case, I only have one item, but this is really important when you're almost done with a job. Here, let me go into this job and delete some things, and you guys will you'll see what I'm talking about here. I'm just deleting a couple fields so that you'll get a flavor of what I'm talking about. But this whole thing on the mobile is phenomenal that it'll whatever you've set as a required field before you leave, you can make sure you found everything. So now I've deleted a couple things. So if we go back in here, it might take a minute for it to sync. It's still syncing. But you know, it's essentially, this is all your required fields and all your flagged items in one place, which is really pretty cool. It'll help you remember to go find things. So here, I'll go out of here and go back into it, and it'll probably open those back up. Yeah, so you could see it that, I don't know if you saw it really quickly, but there was 6 items on the cover page there. And then we could go to needs attention. So it's that exclamation point. And now I've got, you know, so when you start a new report in Scribeware, your needs attention, everything you flagged is all on one big pane. You can scroll through the entire report. And then as you fill it out, all those things shrink up. So here's 6 items. Now I could go method of inspecting. I walked on the roof, and then we could go back and the roof covering materials. And I could say they were an architectural grade. And then we could go back, approximate age of the roof covering, if I forgot to put that in, 20, 25 years. So
yeah, I use that all the time.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, but it's really powerful. You set your required fields, and then I'll go ahead and start a brand new report. So I'll go home to the home screen. Here you can see now we've got 3 items left. So on the home screen, you can see when things aren't filled in all the way. And if I hit the plus mark here, we could start a new narrative report.
Dylan, any chance we can get that needs attention, you know, things that aren't finished in the actual desktop version? Because if not, I've got to like scroll through the whole report and
no,
see
it's
what I didn't fill
yeah.
out.
Here, let me show you.
Okay.
It's there.
Maybe
It's
I'm
under the review items.
okay.
I'm so psyched to show you this because right here, and when you click on it, it like opens up this whole little thing, and then you can tab through the whole report, finding them.
Well, no, those are the items that you didn't fill out. Let's say you had an observation and you maybe just put a little note in there to remind yourself, but you actually didn't fill it out.
It brings
So
up the
like,
flags as well. The flags, see how this
yeah,
is
I
a
guess
flagged
that was,
item?
yeah.
Yep.
I just
So
like that on the mobile app, it's nice because you can see all your observations. You can be like, oh, I didn't finish that observation yet, and go ahead and
yeah,
finish it.
it is different look. So on the desktop, we tab you through the whole report to find them. Whereas on
Right.
mobile, we actually kind of display like one long, huge list of everything, which is kind of
Right.
neat. So that you're absolutely right. The display is different. But hopefully it's
oh God.
Dylan, I think he's wanting the report observations list on desktop like how we have on mobile.
That's exactly right, Peter. Yeah, it just kind of keeps it all in a nice area, and I can go through each one of those and proofread them instead of having to go through every single chapter and click on each individual section to look at my observation to
Yeah,
see
that's
if my
interesting.
voice to text was right. You know, it condenses it all on mobile. It'd be nice to have that on the desktop.
You guys all, I'm gonna restart this. I must say, trying to share the mobile device on a Zoom is like, it's really just awful. It's a torturous experience. So I'm restarting my phone again. I ended up clicking some button that opened up a new speaker. Well, it's a good feedback, Jason. Like, so what you would want would just be a similar workflow where you could like see every comment in the report all in one big long page.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't think we've actually contemplated that. Anybody else want that?
I've messaged Tim about it.
Did you? Okay.
I
Cool.
have too. So
Nice.
I just thought I'd bring it out here too.
Tim, are you on here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, I think that's something that Steve and I have talked about. It's something we'd like to do, but it it's not on the very top of the list, but I'm sure it's something that we can work out eventually.
So I did have one other thing I wanted to try to show you on mobile. It's been such a struggle bus to just share this damn thing on Zoom, but I'm going to try one more time. And this is for all of everybody that likes to do the photo captions to bullets technique.
Dylan, quickly, I got a question about that pre-made caption that you saved. How do you save those pre-made captions in the library?
You're kind of breaking up a little.
How do you save the pre-made captions in the library?
Oh, I love that question. Let me show you that in just a minute. We table that because I'm trying to get in on mobile here.
Dylan, it may help if you stop sharing on your desktop computer and share the screen on your mobile. I think they're conflicting if you're
I can
if you're on the same
override it. I
account. There
don't
we
think
go.
that's the problem. It's just, I have this tiny phone screen and then all this stuff pops up and it's like I can't, it's like dangerous to touch anywhere on the mobile because you end up like touching all these things you didn't mean to touch. All right. You guys can see my screen. Let me go into Scriber. So there is a setting, and Tim, I don't know if we have talked about this, but there is a setting that you can, and I didn't even know this existed. This is so cool. Advance from photo to caption screen. You guys see that in the setting? It's kind of right in the middle of my phone. So this is a whole other workflow where God, I gotta figure out a better way to show mobile. Going into that report that we were fiddling with. So when you check that mode, when I go to take a picture, it automatically serves me right to the place where you caption a photo.
I love it.
Isn't that sick? Yeah.
I had no idea. I can't wait. I can't wait to use that.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually completely amazing. Like, so now, like, you literally take a picture and you hit that. I can't show you doing voice to text while I'm zooming because Zoom controls are taking over my microphone. But I would hit this little magnifying or this little speaker, microphone button, and it would pick up my voice. So I'm going to hit done, and I'm just going to show you the workflow again. You take a picture and you hit the voice to text button, and you're just off to the races. So with that engaged, you actually have a workflow where you can just literally effortlessly just take pictures and use voice to text to caption them.
Well, you just saved me about 300 presses of the little button down there to open up on each inspection.
That's right. It's a lot of clicking. I mean, it's not a big deal, but by the time you do a whole inspection with 300 pictures, it's a lot of clicks. So the one thing that I'm trying to ask our guys if we could do is what I would really like is 2 camera buttons. So to me, the only problem with it is now my entire workflow is the photo captions is like instantly I have to like caption every picture.
Yeah.
Whereas what I would really like is two camera buttons, one that
Oh,
is
that
a
would be
normal
ideal.
camera where you can just fire off pictures, and then a second camera button that like brings you straight to voice to text. And then you could have two different workflows
Yeah. Like
all from here.
maybe turn the second button red or something
It-
where it was quickly and easily identified as your caption button.
yes, that's a
That would
yes.
work exceptionally well with the volume
Oh,
buttons, because like a volume up could be a captions and a volume down could be,
Oh, that's interesting.
regular
Yeah.
photo. Because I just use my thumb on the volume buttons to snap photos all around the house all the
yeah,
time.
I do a lot
That's
of that too.
interesting. I think the volume buttons give us fits because of the way different phones react to the camera button. Like
If
if
I was
everybody were using the same device, that would be more doable, but it's tricky with like, on a Pixel that reacts differently and all that kind of stuff. But that's good to know, Pete. That's super interesting. But
the
anyway, amazing workflow for me. The interesting thing, I want to talk about workflow for a minute. So the reason I use so much voice to text on the outside of the building is in my experience on the outside of the building, the data comes to us and it's all messed up, right? It's part of the exterior, it's the gutter, it's the roof, it's the electrical, it's the hose bib, it's the drainage, it's the retaining wall, it's a door, it's a window. And so voice to text lets me move effortlessly through the outside. And I just take pictures and caption them. And then before I head in, I start dumping all my pictures into my various parent comments. Like deck repairs are needed, door repairs are needed, roof repairs are needed. And I kind of clean up my gallery. And so the outside, everything that you would find on the outside of a house, a lot of my template is photo captions driven. Once I go inside the house, I mean, if I go to example for, we could go to like my water heater section and look at a water heater. I do a water heater very differently. I mean, I have lots of individual comments. So it was a tank and it was a Bradford white, and I'll click on this and that's just picture the data tag, right? So now I've got the data tag with that comment, and I can keep moving. And it's a 65-gallon water heater, so I auto-populate a comment that you can't really get those unless they're high efficiency. I've in my age, for the age of the water heater, as soon as you hit 2007, you can see that's orange, and that automatically serves up a comment that's like, hey, this thing could die at any point. Take a picture, and I've kind of done that. And then you go on to the next thing, and it's electricity and straps. I live where you have to have seismic restraints. So none found is orange, and I can just long press on none found, and it serves me right into the comment. I can go ahead and snap a picture, and I'm kind of done with that. So no voice to text, just the same comments over and over. But on a water heater, it's very rare that it fails in a weird way. Like I can make a list of all the pre-made defects and improvements and just recycle that same language over and over. Does that make sense, you guys? Everybody?
exactly what I'm doing. Works good for a water heater, an electric panel, air conditioning compressor, things like that.
Yep. Yeah. So like and I wanted to show you this workflow. So this is I'm in my sinks and cabinets. So I'm in a bathroom, and we could hit like stopper repairs. And so the old way I used to do it, I would have like 6 or 8 different stopper comments. Well, now I can just hit stink stoppers. Repairs are needed. The yellow is text replacement. And if I click on it, now I've got all of my stopper comments in one place. The stopper was missing, or the stopper was disconnected, or the stopper would not stay closed. The stopper was stuck in the up position. The stopper was stuck in the down position. You see, I mean, maybe I'm not alone in being like this anal, but I want to be really specific of what's wrong. And this lets me be really specific with just kind of the click of a button. So that's like a little mini gunny sack that I built into my sync comment, so that this one comment replaced like 10 different stopper comments that I used to use. Does that make sense? I mean, one of my goals for everybody is that you can write just as detailed or even more detailed reports, but use fewer and fewer comments. So you're not spending that much time searching for comments. If you need to search for a comment on mobile, you can always go add new observation. So I'll back up again. That's at the bottom.
Timer on?
So at the
It's
bottom
been going
here,
off for a while, I think.
I gotta mute somebody. if you go to the bottom of the mobile in any section, you can hit add new observation. And if you hit the magnifying glass, you can use a keyword search. So I could type in drain, and it's got a slow drain comment, corrugated waste pipe. So we could add corrugated waste pipe. And you just hit that little, the 3 lines with the check mark at the upper right, and that will like push that comment into the report. And so then once it's into the report here, this is that comment. You could take pictures and stuff with it. So but it's interesting, like if you are using Scriber and you find yourself using keyword search a lot, that's probably a clue that we could help you try to get your template dialed in, because I don't almost ever I use keyword search for maybe 1 or 2 comments per job. And maybe more if it's a weird house, because then I'm sort of searching the bowels of my library. But like most normal houses, I don't even really need to use a keyword search ever. Like I've got everything dialed in my template. I'm just going click, 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 click. And you can take this, Donnie Bentley's on here, but I mean, he's built a template where I can't imagine he's ever searching for a comment, because he's using basically all gunny sacks and photo captions to bullets. So like you just wouldn't, you ever search for a comment, Donnie?
Never.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you just completely eliminated searching for comments, which is really pretty cool. I mean, that's massive time save right there if you're not stuck in that old way of having like 3,000 comments in your library.
Well, the voice to text takes care of the weird stuff anyway. You just put it in as you go.
That's kind of that's the workflow, right? The voice to text handles the weird stuff, and you try to get your template organized for all the normal things where you're just going click, click, click and documenting it. And you can either have a single comment or a little gunny sack comment that could be manipulated. But and in my mind, how I divide that workflow is, here's a list of the things to me that I don't need voice to text for. It would be the electric panel, the water heater, kitchens and bathrooms, the attic, a lot of the garage, your interior doors, windows, stairs. That's not true. Doors and windows, I do a lot of voice to text. But stairs are a good one. They're always the same. Windows and doors fail in super weird ways every time, right? There's a hole at the bottom of the primary bedroom door. The middle hinge is missing screws, right? It's always like, I don't know, it's just strange stuff. So I find doors are way easier to just use voice to text and then and use a parent comment type technique. Was that helpful, everybody? Amens, hallelujahs. Charlie's on here. Good to see you, Charlie. Right on.
I don't
Finally,
have a question for you.
Yeah, shoot.
I'm just not quite muted perfect subject, but I think it can help everybody else as well. I just imported all my information into Scribeware, and that database that I imported, I realized that there's a lot of duplication. It could need a good cleaning. Is there any way to access, without going one comment and waiting for it to pop up? And because I think if the database is cleaner, the search will be faster.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And let me jump over to desktop. It's possible we could, help you clean up that import, but Tim's on here, so he could chime in. But let me show you some library features, because there might be ways to clean it up. So like if you go under the library tab on desktop is right up here, and you could do some various keyword searches. So I think we could go, I would probably do one chapter at a time. So you could go to exterior and we could type in decay and see what comes up. But now I'm in my exterior chapter searching for words with decay, and then you could go through, and if you start seeing, you can check multiple things here. So as you scroll down this list, you could be checking various things that you want to go ahead and delete. And then when you're ready to, you can go ahead and delete them with that bucket. So it's not perfect. I mean, that's pretty manual, but this is a lot faster than like hitting add observation and trying to kind of search through stuff. I think by using the keyword here and cleaning up, if you made a practice of one chapter a day and go through and try to like use a handful of keywords and clean stuff up, I don't think it would take you that long to just kind of slowly start to clean up the library a bit.
What I meant is that I have comment, let's say a regular comment that come over and over and over in different chapter and different section. It's always the same comment, but I have the same comment. If I want to modify the comment, I have to modify the same comment at 7 or 8 different places. Is there a way to combine the one comment? Is there a way to combine? Like I have some that are linked to 3 comments, some that are linked to 1, some that are not linked, but it's always the same comment we're talking about.
If I'm understanding you, is that you are getting, if I could just use like an example to help me understand it, are you seeing like an electrical comment in multiple places where you don't necessarily want it?
Well, let's say an electrical comment. Okay, I do report room per room. So I have a outlet switch cover that is missing, for example. But that specific sentence, I have it like maybe 16 times in my database, and it's used maybe 4 times. And on the few times that it's used with 5 different items, with 3 different items. I don't know if you're following me, but there's a lot of that are not used. I can just delete them that you just showed me. But one, it's linked to 3 comments. The other one is linked to 4 comments. Is there any way to combine them so that it's the same comment that is linked to 5 instead of
Yes, there is a way to do that. I'm trying to think of like the best way to do it. So let me show you a few things and we'll see if something clicks here because this is interesting. And I wanted to get to Sang's thing. Don't let me leave without showing you photo captions because that is important. But if we edit this comment and we edit in library, we can see that there is a library category associated with this. And so what you might want to do is start creating some categories of comments maybe that are applicable to all of those different. In other words, like if you put all of your comments that would be in lots of different places into a single library category, you could share that library category with all of those different sections and you would be using the same comment. Let me show you another way to look at this. So here's where you control like what the library category is for a given comment. But let me cancel out of this. And if we go into the library and click these 3 dots and we edit the category list, this is all of the different library categories that are used. And what might help you, Stefan, is if you created a category that is specifically designed for like the room by room, and where there's all that stuff like cover plates, for example. And then you could start saving all of those comments to that one category. Let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to add a new category and I'm going to call it narrative room. And we'll add this category and there shouldn't be anything there because it's a brand new category. But it should still help us demonstrate this. Here it is, narrative room, and there's 0 entries. So we'll pretend that you have this like, we could go ahead and actually author a comment in here. We could hit the plus mark and we'll add a new comment. We'll call it a repair. Cover plates are damaged. And I'm going to put in these 8s in here. This will make sense. All right, so we've got a comment here and it's in our library. So now we're going to go into the report and let's go into attic. No, we'll go into garage. It'll be a little bit better example. So I'm in my garage. We'll go to garage electric. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to edit the section with these 3 dots. That'll turn it green. And when it's green, I can choose the library category that I want to apply here. So we'll edit library category and I'm going to search for room, right? Because that was this, here it is, narrative room, 1 entry. So now we update library. And you could come in here and we could do the 8s and there's that comment. But you could go into electric distribution and fixtures and I could edit section and I could edit library category and I could put in room and update comment, and then I could come here and add observation and go 888. And now you've got it there too. Does that make sense what I'm doing? So I've applied the same library category to multiple places in my template, and I now have the exact same comment available to me in all of these different places.
Yeah. That's exactly what I wanted to do with the one that are all spread all over the different categories. Like my comment are, when I open the library, the same comment is in every library.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you could do is delete a lot of those and try to just get one of them into that common folder. And then when you're done, when you have that common folder populated with all of those comments, you just need to go through your template and point that library category to wherever you want it.
Okay.
That makes sense. I know it's a little I mean, the library categories are one of the coolest features in Scribeware for organizing your template, but they're definitely like a little bit melt your brain. I mean, it's you got to like go deep for that one, you know. But it's that. Does that make sense? I mean, we just kind of demonstrated here. So now I'll go back into library. I'm going to go edit my category list, and let's go find this room one. And I don't want this comment in my, so I'm going to hit that, and then I can go ahead and delete it. And so now I've just kind of cleaned all that up. But does that make sense? I mean, that's kind of a cool demonstration, I think, of the power of library categories so that you can share the exact same comment in 20 different places if you want and not have to repeat that comment over and over and over. Cool. Love that. Okay, I want to show you guys photo captions because there's two different ways you can create a photo captions library. Let me go into decking and show you one more time what it does. If we click on this picture and I start typing in decay, the Scribeware has its own photo captions library distinct from the main library. So, you know, localized wood decay noted in some of the decking. So that's kind of what I want. So we could hit save and close. So it's a super fast way to go ahead and caption your pictures if you don't want to use voice to text. So there's two different ways you can add a photo caption to your library. One is from the picture annotation area. So you got a picture up, here's where you caption it, and we could make a new caption, dead beaver, all right? And we'll save and close. And then we could come up here and I type in dead and whoops, gotta spell it right. And oh, it might not have brought it up because I forgot to save it. Hang on, sorry. Dead beaver. And then you come up here to these three dots. This is how you add it to the library, and you hit add to library. Everybody see that?
Yeah.
So you type anything you want as a caption and add it to the library. We can do save and close. And then we could open up an uncaptioned picture and I could start typing in dead, and there's that comment. So that's how we designed these to really, you know, how you can build organically a library of photo captions just as you work. You just click on a picture, open it up, caption it. Click on a picture, open it up, caption it. And if you want to save it, if you like it, you hit the three dots and hit add to library. So that's kind of the main way to do it. There is another way to do it, though. You can go into the library tab up here in the middle, and you could go to a chapter. So let's go to like the decks, and I could show only media captions. And I don't know why do I not have any? I gotta put a section in. Let's have photo captions here. There they are. So here's all my media captions. I have a ton of them in decks because I often use these. But the photo captions is fascinating. A lot of people, if you're newer to Scribeware, a lot of people come to me and like one question I remember getting is, where are your plumbing boot? You know, where's your whole section in your template for plumbing boots on the roof? And I was like, well, I don't think of plumbing boot comments as a narrative comment. I think of them as a photo caption. The plumbing vents are damaged. The plumbing vents are lead. They're, you know, so it's kind of a different order of magnitude. But if we go into my roofing section, for example, and there was something wrong with the plumbing vent, we could I could type in vent, you know, and you know, quality baffled ridge vents, quality lead flashings, cardboard, active leak at the plumbing vents, So to me, and the reason I think like that is, when was the last time you did a roof inspection and you only found one problem? I mean, every once in a while it happens, but like by and large, to me, that's really rare. I can usually find more than one thing, and so I kind of work in photo captions, and I think that's why Donnie Bentley wrote his template, where it's like you have like two or three different roof comments, and it's like and then you click on the things that apply. There's damage signals, the flashings are missing, right?
Pull the menu down and then click on the menu. That way it's 2 clicks, but everything's sorted out real even.
Yep. Yeah. So I could show you guys some of that. Let me jump into. Is everybody having fun? You guys getting your questions answered? You getting some good nuggets out of this, I hope.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and start a commercial template, and I'll show you some things in that, because this is kind of a workflow Donnie and I kind of work together that he's been using a lot of. I think this,
By the
for me,
way,
is
our new idea, I think I've got it figured out too, on the tagging, like sewer scopes and stuff.
Oh yeah, let's show tags. I'll bring up tags here in a little bit. Thanks for
No,
bringing
you
that
go
up.
ahead and do this.
Yeah. All right. So I'm in the interior unit of a commercial job, and this is a template I'm working on. So if you guys want this, I'm happy to share it. We're not kind of done with it yet, but there's some things I really love. So I've created under rooms interior unit for commercial, where you've got everything you could possibly need in one unit. When I'm done with this, I'm going to copy it and I'm going to make like commercial building unit, hotel room unit, apartment unit, so this one, for example, I have restrooms, and to me that feels more like a commercial building than if I had an apartment version, I would call them a bathroom. Right. And I have like break room in here, um, but if you notice, this template is like, because I have everything in one section, if I'm doing a commercial building with 20 units in it, I can come up here and copy section 20 times and now kind of expand all of this out. So now I could call this, unit number 204, and then this one down here could be unit number 206.
That would be a really good place to have a pull down menu.
Donnie, that's been on our list for a while. So I think you get the idea here. You can keep copying and adding stuff. The workflow that Donnie uses is like, if we look at walls and ceilings, you can describe it. So maybe it's drywall, and maybe there's some drop ceilings. And then I have a handful of individual comments: painting needed, drop ceiling repairs. But notice how there's this one, interior repairs needed. And so this is kind of a parent comment, and you could just go ahead and put as many pictures in here as you want and use photo captions to bullets. And the whole point is, on commercial, like, I don't think in commercial people care as much. Like, you don't need to have like a whole explanation about what reverse polarity is and stuff. They just want a list. And so this lets you really quickly like build a list and use the photo captions to bullets. Does that make sense, everybody? I mean, you could hit painting needed, and you put some examples in. But that's kind of the workflow. Let me find one that's got a little gunny sack built into it. This is kind of cool. Fire door repairs. And I made a list of all of the fire door things. So the following observations were noted. The label was not visible from the fire manufacturer. The door ID is not visible. The glazing beds are not intact. So this is all stuff that's right out of commercial fire door inspections. The door does not latch and glazing is inadequate, whatever. So you can just add those with a few clicks of a button. But the whole idea is that one thing that's different about this template is we're using show next to connected field value. So this modifier is linked right up under doors. And that's what lets me build this really dense template, is that I don't have to have lots of different sections here. Like in my template, all of these could be different sections or even different chapters. And so by using the show next to connected field value for the modifiers, you can get this really dense kind of template that is incredibly flexible. I mean, it lets you handle big buildings really quickly and have a workflow where you don't have to jump all over the place. If you've ever tried to do commercial and you keep the old residential way of doing it, where you keep jumping into the heating section and jumping into the electrical section, by the time you're done, you're ready to shoot yourself because you've just navigated all over the place. Whereas, if I'm in this section, if I need to add service equipment, boom, I just added 2 new panels. I can come up here and label it. This could be like unit number 206 main panel. And then I could double click on these. These are all text replacement I built. So maybe it's a Cutler hammer. It's 200 amps. It's 120, 240. It's single split. And it's an older panel. And then I've got comments here that's corrosion noted inside the panel, double tap breakers, and neutral ground wires not bonded properly.
Dylan,
yep.
You have a video existing that shows how to set those up so slick like that?
Yeah, I mean, this is really a little gunny sack, but let's go ahead and build one. I'll show you how I built that. What's new that Tim built is actually this whole thing where you can keep entering more units, which is really incredible. I just want to point this out. If you do commercial, think about when you get on a roof and there's 10 HVAC pieces of equipment up there. So I built a little heating section, and you literally can just keep clicking on this. And it's got a HVAC tag, so it's going to make its own summary page of all the HVAC stuff. And this is a new way of thinking about it, but you have the descriptive fields, the observations, and the recommendations all in a single comment. And this lets you, from the roof, you're just going click, 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 click. I got that one. Click, 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 click. I got that one. Click, click. You can just pound out all of your pictures and have them super organized. And we all know commercial, the biggest trick on commercial is coming home and having your pictures where you need them. Right? I mean, if you have this big jumble of pictures, the gig is up, Yeah, go ahead, Donnie.
I have one question, and I guess it's maybe more of a Steve question. When you build it out this way, which this is the way I've got mine built, is there a way inside of this where that the recommendations button would go to a summary on its own, or does it have to be its own?
So that's a super cool. I love that you brought that up. So here we got Tim Trickle on here, and Tim is working on something that I'm just literally jumping out of my seat excited for. So what I built up here, Steve, that I will show you how to build is done with text replacement. And it's not that hard to build. And so it gives the functionality that I showed, which is pretty great. Our ultimate goal is that this is actually a temporary workaround, and that we're going to be having table functionality, and that you could actually turn these into a table. And if that happened, you would have some controls. Our idea would be that in the chapter, you would see all of this stuff. In the summary, you would see only observations and recommendations, and you would be creating a table of HVAC systems that would all be populated by this data, if that makes sense. So in other words, the data can kind of head in 2 directions. One would be a master table of all the HVAC units. The other would be the summary page of defects, and then the main comment in the section. Does that make sense?
I get.
Everybody get what we're talking about?
Booyah.
Yes, and I can't wait, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of this will be game changing, I think, for commercial. So we're getting close, but it's
works great on residential too.
But I mean, honestly, it would be cool if this, when we get the tables going, is going to be better. But this is actually extremely functional at the moment. I don't know if we have any Texas scribers on here, but this technique is really good in the Trek report, where you have kind of that, you're stuck in that kind of funny way that you have to do your template. So this would be, I've actually built out a Trek template. If somebody wants to drive it, I'm happy to share it with you. But I use a lot of this technique there that is pretty great. You guys want to build one of these real quick?
Yes.
I was about to ask you that question.
Yeah, so let's add a new one. I'll give it a title. We'll call this test comment. And then I'll come down here, and I'm going to hit the text replacement button. And we're going to do multiple selections and bullets. And then Up here, we could call this electric panel. And then down here, we could make a whole list of stuff. Broken, on fire, and corroded. And we can hit save. So now we've got one, and then you could go ahead and click and hit. If this is one thing that's a trick, is when you want to make another gunny sack below, you can hit the shift key and the enter key. And now that'll get you below it. Otherwise, you get kind of trapped in the gunny. So you need to hit shift and enter. But now we could hit the text replacement button and we could do another one. And so multiple selections, bullets, and then panel.
And I do the shift enter twice just to double space between the gunny sacks to keep me from grabbing the wrong one sometimes.
Yeah.
I have quite a few stacked gunny sacks like that.
Yeah, cool. But that's, you know how to do these, right? So now we've got, so anyway, here you can see we can click on it and you could start selecting things. So that's like stacking gunny sacks. So that's kind of one method, but that's actually a little different than what I built here. So let me go ahead and build one more. So we'll do another test comment. And then how I built these is, let's do type. And then you hit the text replacement. And so now we're gonna now we only need one here, right? So it could be gas, propane, electric, oil. So boom. And then we can again shift enter. Now we're below it, and then we could do manufacturer, colon, and then we do text replacement. And we could make a little list. See, I don't need multiple selections here because you're only going to choose one, so right? American Standard and Ream. I'm just giving two to kind of get us going here. So now you see how this one works, Stephen?
Yeah, beautiful.
So that's if you only need to be able to choose one thing, this is kind of a cool way to do it. And you could go ahead and like make these bold if you wanted to, you know?
Yeah. Tell me about that magic button.
The magic button?
The enter HVAC unit over and over again.
Okay, yeah, the magic button here. So how you do that is if you edit a section and you hit the pen and you display options as buttons.
Okay.
That's the trick. And that'll turn it. And so if we go ahead and build a new one from scratch, let me delete these. Let's go ahead and I'm going to add a blank section. We'll call this test. I'll edit the section and add new. I'm probably moving too fast for you, sorry. Edit section, add new, test button, and then display as a button. Oh, didn't do it. Let's try one more thing. What did I do wrong, Tim? Do I need to put it down here?
Yes.
There it is. So does that make sense, everybody?
And it'll just repeat. It'll copy it over and over again every time you hit it.
Yeah, I mean, then it'll repeat the same comment, and that's a unique. Tim came up with this, and we did it kind of for commercial and for tables, and it's been sort of shockingly functional. Like I honestly, I could see redesigning my whole template around this. It's really neat to me, the idea of just keeping all of this information and it together in one comment. It sort of takes gunny sacking to new extremes.
I tell you what I'm playing with right now. It's not field tested yet, but I built it out. Is all my ancillaries I built this way and built them inside the report.
Really
and
interesting.
Okay. And then you can tag them, and that way, then they create their own report at the bottom.
Yeah, so what Donnie's talking about are these little observation tags. So if we go look at, let me just go look at, I wonder if I have a sample of mine up here.
Johnny, I like that line of thinking. That's a great idea.
It's looking like I said. I've just played with it here in at the house, but I just built it last week, and I'm gonna go live with it next week and try it.
You gotta keep us posted. That's super cool. So here is a report that I did, but notice how I've got a separate pest summary, electrical items, and plumbing items, and they're all like in their own summary page. So I could click on electrical items, and now I've got my electrical list. And so I was able to do that by creating these observation tags. Now I can go back to the full report and I've got everything. But these tags, I plan on using a ton of these with commercial. One of the things Tim is working on is the ability to be able to save these tags per template, which would be helpful if I build a commercial template and you guys want to use it, and I've built a lot of these tags in, I'd be able to ship with it, if that makes sense. Currently, the tags are saved per company. Um, so if we go under settings and tags, this is kind of where you build these. You guys want me to review these real quick? Anybody?
I'm good.
Looks like Sang does. There's a lot here. We could do a whole meeting just on these, but if I've got a lot of them now, but if you go to the bottom, you can create a new tag group. I think when you click that, it actually makes it up near the top, which is a little weird, but
Puts it at the second one on mine.
yeah. So like what Donnie Bentley's doing is like right here, new tag group, we could call it sewer scope. And so then we could make it a chip. We could create a summary page with it, and then we'll save the comments with the library. And then the boilerplate you need to go make. So you need to go make a little boilerplate that says something
You
like,
just
hey,
copy and paste your standard sewer scope information right there, and you're done.
yeah, so I already had a sewer scope boilerplate. So now it'll put the sewer scope boilerplate, and then the summary page title we could call sewer scope, and we could like a little emoji in if you want to have fun with it. So now like if you tag those comments, like if we went in and plumbing and let's go to waste and drains, sewer scope recommended, I could come down and oh, I'll go a little bar. I might have to go make one of those. Hang on. I need to make a little chip, I think. Here it is, add tag. All right. Then we go back into Scribeware. There's sewer scope. So now I've got a little tag. So now it would create its own little summary page of when I print the report, which is really pretty cool. That's what Donnie, what's brilliant about it is now he's got a template where all of his ancillary services are in one big template. But when he goes to publish the report, it's going to create all these different summary pages. So each ancillary service could be like pulled out if it needed to be, you know? That makes sense. So like he could have one for sewer scope and one for chimney scan and one for mold inspection, and you could have those tags could all be built up down here. So it's a cool way to make multiple reports within one report.
Yes.
Amen. Hallelujah. You guys with me? Right on. It looks like we lost a lot of people. There was like 40 something people on here. I feel terrible. I was struggling with the mobile app. Wasn't my best share experience. So on mobile app, but I do my best with these. Sharing the mobile app on a Zoom call is not for the faint of heart. Right on. Anybody else have any other questions? I mean, we covered a lot of stuff today.
Ellen, do you have a video about how to create those tags and how to manipulate all those tags
I
of
do, yeah.
items?
So there's a tagging video out there. You can probably Google it or just go to our YouTube channel. And I'm not certain I put it in directions yet. I've kind of been waiting a little bit because I think we're going to end up changing tags a little bit, not immensely. I should probably go ahead and just make a video, but we do have a tagging video that shows you the different ways to use those.
Very much. I think you
You,
that's the point,
you
right?
you can also use them to show in the report. So like this one's not going to make a summary page. This one's just showing where I found stuff. So I love using them occasionally in the report to just show locations.
Mainly for the 4 point wise, but sometimes um, I just had an argument with realtor saying that, hey, you just told me on the phone that there are two items on the phone when you mentioned it on the phone, but there are five other items that you didn't mention on the phone, but that was on the report. So I had to be careful about how I say it on the phone, but I want to make sure that they know about what the defects are on the phone point. So I don't have any kind of dispute in later. So that's why I found that tag might be useful. That hey, these are the items on the 4 point that needs to be repaired before it gets cleared.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of sort of thing.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. That's actually what an interesting idea, saying like, I mean, you would have your 4 point and your WinMit attached, but you could easily tag all of the 4 point and WinMit findings and create a separate summary page that would like not be part of the document, but would still be really useful for people because they could like, it's almost more convenient because that document's almost in the way of good report writing, you know?
Right. But at the same time, realtors got used to it from the COVID era that when they want to deal with the sellers or other parties, they only want the 4 point item to address. So
Yeah.
if I don't mention it correctly, then there's a dispute, and I'm giving them a chance to dispute later. I found out that
Yep. Yeah. Interesting. There's so much that can be done with the tags, but this is what I was saying. If you look at the summary, the reason why I did those all caps, I don't know. I think this stands out a little better. This is my decks, porches, and balconies section, and then in this case, I left it as one big comment, but sometimes I'll have front deck, side deck, back deck, or whatever, and I'll kind of stack up these different sections. So I think it helps it be a little more clear. Cool, guys. Well, we hit hour and a half. So good meetup. I hope you guys all got a little something out of it. Thanks for what's my little tagline on if you guys show up at our Sunday meetups, it's you've wasted another perfectly good hour of your Sunday morning. But in this case it's your Thursday afternoon. But anyway.
Do you have one on Sunday?
Yeah, Donnie, we I do a meeting with Charlie and whoever wants to show up every Sunday at 7 a.m. Pacific time. So if you look on the Scribers forum in Facebook, Charlie's always posting it up there. They're amazing meetings. There's some really smart. I mean, geez, Douglas Hanson shows up to some of them, and there's some really smart guys on there. I learned I'm messing with my template almost every weekend because of it. So it gets a bit geeky. We get into like deep code stuff and everything, but if you like that, it's fun. It's not Scriber directed. It's more like, code and geeky home inspection, building inspection stuff, but they're fun. So cool, everybody. Well, thanks so much for showing up. We appreciate you all, and thanks for your questions and all the innovation you're doing. And maybe reach out if anybody wants to share their template at the next one. Like they can. Yeah, we've shared Donnie's template. We jumped into Scott's template one time. But if someone wants to like either show things they're doing or like help us renovate, and remodel or do repairs to their template. We could kind of do it with everybody. And I think sometimes people get a lot out of that. So happy to do that on a meetup if you want to do that so publicly.
I think this thing I'm doing with ancillaries is worth looking at if it does as good as I think it's going to.
Yeah, Donnie, let's carve out some time at the next meetup and you can show that, because I think that's going to be super, super cool. And hopefully one of these days, Tim's going to be able to take in the lead when we get tables and showing us how they work.
Yes, I can't wait.
Yeah, me neither.
No, we're all super excited, Tim. So thank you for all your work, man. I appreciate it. It's this stuff is like always 10 times more complicated than you could possibly imagine. So I've learned that about this business, that things move slowly and it's always more complicated than you think. But we'll get there.
Great meetup, Dylan.
Oh, good. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it, man.
Glad I can make it.
Awesome. Great seeing
Talk to you
everybody.
soon.
Yeah, let's talk soon. Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Hey,
Thanks.
thanks a lot, Dylan.